What's going on, everybody? It's GriimYT back with a brand new review, and today we are going to be talking about the new Subtronics album, Tesseract. This album just came out today, I'm gonna say this. I was a little hesitant to check this out because I was not the biggest fan of Fractals last year. Not last year, it was 2022 when it came out in January. Wasn't the biggest fan of it. There's a few songs I definitely enjoyed, but for the most part, stuff that just, was cool but wasn't really for me. So this album, though, we might have some better songs. A few of the singles that came out beforehand I checked out and I liked, so I'll talk about those. But I'm going to listen to the rest of the songs and go through all of them in order and check them all out. And hopefully it's pretty good. Definitely excited to see some remixes, though, maybe later this year or maybe early next year, because I know that was one thing about Fractals I loved was the remixes that he did back in December of 2022. Those were awesome. So hopefully maybe later this year we'll get some Tesseract remixes. But anyways, we're going to go through all the songs and check them out. So without further ado, let's go. So first track we have here is Cottage Gore, nice little introduction to the album, and I think this is like a very Subtronics song. Like this is Subtronics' style. The melody, the vocals that he uses, the fake outs, the drops themselves, the sound design, everything is classic Subtronics. If you want to like understand his style and how his music is, this is a good example, and I think it introduced the album very well. Very cool, nice little intro. Definitely excited. I'm looking at some of these songs as I was listening to it, and definitely a lot of vocalists I feel like are going to be on here, which is very cool. And a lot of these songs have like parenthesis names. If you'll see what I mean when I get later down the track list. But very cool intro though. I like this one so far. So nice little way to open the album. Second up here, we have Only Star You See with Caitlin Scarlett, and I was not expecting some drum and bass on this. We're already getting into some different genres, which is great. If it was 16 tracks of dubstep and rhythm, would have been very disappointed. So we're getting some different genres here, very cool. I don't think Subtronics has done many drum and bass songs. I know he's done a couple house songs. I know he did the one on Fractals. I think it's Funked. That one was pretty cool. So maybe there's another house one on here. I'm not sure yet. But this is drum and bass, very cool. Vocals are great, of course, and the whole melody's awesome. So yeah, very cool to see him do some drum and bass. It's kind of like liquid drum and bass. It's not very like heavy and energetic. It's more like kind of empty and the production's kind of like held back a little bit. I mean, like in terms of like it's not all over the place and stuff. It's very cool, very condensed, and sounds pretty good. So hopefully we get some other cool genres on here. So very cool. All right, third track here we have Amnesia. So far, man, this is easily my favorite. So far, this is definitely, like I said with the first song, this is like classic Subtronics here. This is fire. This is sick. Vocal samples funny, melodies great. Drops are so massive, just really just powerful, have a lot of energy to them. Sound design is awesome. Flows are great. That's one thing about Subtronics. Some of the drops that he does, the flows are so sick. And the patterns he does are really cool. So, this one's great. I love this one. So far, definitely my favorite. We'll see what else he's got. But yeah, this one was really cool, man. Really cool song. Alright, next up is Afternoon Coffee Slide featuring Ronzo. See, like I said, it's Afternoon Coffee and then parentheses Slide. So, like, I guess it's like a little double name thing, but I guess it's supposed to be a bit of a sequel to Morning Coffee from the Fractals album, and yeah, this one's definitely much, much better. Vocalist Ronzo, or I guess I should say like the MC, I guess, the rapper, like, this is like a drill kind of thing with these really cool, like, empty wook drops. It's really sick. Really, really cool. The whole vibe and tone is great, especially after Amnesia. Amnesia is very, like, heavy, in your face, energetic, and then this one kind of brings it back down. Really, really cool. So cool to see Subtronics working with some, vocalists and some rappers and stuff. Very, very cool. This one was really cool. Love the vibe here. Next up here we have Parabola Paradox Slap It featuring Quang Face. Okay. Now, honestly though, this might be right next to Amnesia my favorite. I've actually been waiting for this ID since I think Subtronics' Lost Lane set last year. This was one of the songs from that set. Crazy. It didn't sound like this though. It was different, but the drop was the same, and oh my gosh, man, crazy. Vocals are awesome. I love the way it came out, by the way. Vocals are awesome. The rapping is awesome. Whole vibe is great, and then the way that the drop, it just almost like comes out of nowhere. Especially the second and third time, it like comes out of nowhere. It just right in the face. It's so sick. So really, really great. Massive production. Really great like vibe and bounce in the drop. So sick. So definitely my second favorite right now. Really, really cool. So next up here we have Alien Communication. This was released, I believe, literally the day before the album, as a little like last minute single before the album comes out. And I didn't listen to it. I waited until it was on the album, and yeah, it's very cool. Very long though, like 5 minutes. A little bit on the lengthy side, but very cool. The first drop is really cool. How it's got that little like double time part, and then it just switches and just right in the face. Really cool. And then the second drop sticks with that whole double time part. It's really cool. Vibe is really nice. Nothing really too insane, but definitely a nice little song here. So yeah, really really cool. Alright, after Alien Communication is Asteroid with Excision, and yeah, not the biggest fan of it, honestly. Like, after I first heard it, I thought it was cool, but then the more I listened to it, the more it kind of grew off me. Just, the flow is kind of and the sound design and all that. I mean, it's pretty basic, nothing really too insane. I almost like Bunker Buster more, their first collab back in 2021. So this one's, yeah, it's not too bad. This one was, I think, released in September before the album, so I heard it way back then. Yeah, it's pretty cool, so nice to see them collaborate again, and yeah, I think this one's alright. Next up here we have Interface Wheel, another typical, Subtronics dubstep song. Melody's very cool. The drops are a little more held back. They don't have that like loudness and energy that like Amnesia or a Slap It does. But I do like the whole vibe of it. The tone's very cool, especially the little sample in the middle talking about, vibrations and stuff like that with music. It's very cool. Kind of reminds me of String Theory. That whole EP is filled with stuff like that, so very cool. And yeah, it's very, typical Subtronics song. But I think it's a little bit more held back, which is kind of nice instead of another really loud, slapper. This one's a little more condensed, so very cool though. Really cool, like variety. It's almost like there's a bit of variety here on the album. You have the really heavy energy slappers and you have the kind of cool ones. So very, very cool though. Next up here we have Dream's Plasma Reflex featuring Crooked Bangs, who I believe was on Spaghetti's album from last year. So they made another appearance with Subtronics here, and this one was very cool, very unique. This one is a house cut, but it's almost like, I guess, deep house. I don't know like the exact subgenre, but glad to see him do a house song. And yeah, this one's really cool. The first drop, that really empty, like spacious almost sound, really really cool. I think that's really cool, very well done. And yeah, the whole song is very like laid back and chill. It's very cool. It's a more like chilled song, not really heavy, super in your face bass house. So yeah, pretty cool. I like how Subtronics knows when to go crazy heavy on songs and when to kind of bring it back and make it a little more condensed, a little more toned down, I guess. So yeah, this one's very cool too. The vocals fit really well. The whole vibe is really cool. And yeah, another nice song. Next up, we have Reality Distortion, another classic Subtronics dubstep song. I kind of like the mix between like, cool songs, unique ideas, and then typical Subtronics high energy dubstep. It's very cool having a bit of variety like that instead of every song being like this. And that's, I think, the problem with Fractals. I feel like every song was experimental and weird, whereas like the really cool like, songs just didn't really stick out to me. I feel like having it be like a mix of, basic dubstep and then having a mix of like the cool songs, makes the cool songs stick out more and makes the dubstep songs hit much harder when you're used to like really unique stuff, and then you get something more basic and straightforward. So I like the mix of both, and yeah, it's another very interesting song here, very cool. Another single we have here is Insidious with Grabbits, which came out before the album. I did check it out, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Never been a big Grabbits enjoyer. I know a lot of people really like him, especially Subtronics fans. It's pretty cool. Another classic song from him. Yeah, I think Grabbits definitely does work here, though. I think, he does some pretty good stuff, and it's a very cool song. I enjoyed this one a little bit after it came out, so it's cool to see it on here, and yeah, another pretty decent song. So next up we have Quantum Queso, another Subtronics dubstep song. What's new? A little bit different this time, I guess. The percussion's a little bit different. Flows are kind of the same though. Vocals are a bit kind of the usual Subtronics stuff. So another typical song from him though. Like I said, it's a nice little variety though. You got the cool and interesting, unique songs, and then the typical Subtronics dubstep. So nice little variety. This one's pretty decent too. Okay, so these next three I'm going to talk about right now because they're all singles I heard before and they're all right in a row. First up, we have Mind Pluck with Hall. Gotta say, Hall has become one of my new favorites recently, especially last year I started listening to him, and man, he is insane. And I think this one is definitely not one of his best songs, and I think that has to be Subtronics' influence because, for example, Hall released Poetic Pit and Boss Fight last year, and both of those are insane. So I think Subtronics definitely changes the styles in a way that I like a little less, but it still is a very cool song. I know it's extremely popular too. I know that the Fake Out's very popular and stuff, and it's pretty massive too sounding. I mean, you can't deny that. The drops are pretty massive. So it is a very cool single. Then you have Black Ice with Rez. Never been a Rez enjoyer, guys, not gonna lie. Never really enjoyed her music, never really listened to Rez that much, but I know she is very popular, and this song is definitely also pretty cool. I definitely could see the idea. The first part is very cool, but then there's like this like switch up at the end, this like tempo change, that's really really cool. That definitely saves it a little bit. But overall it is pretty decent, you know, very cool. And then we have Omnidirectional, which is a solo Subtronics song that came out last year before the album, and this one I definitely like too. I remember this one being an ID, I'm pretty sure as well, and it's very very cool. Really like how massive and heavy it is, just like Parabola Paradox. That's the one that I was waiting for too. This one's also very cool. So yeah, these 3 singles were all pretty decent. Glad to see them on the album. So we have one more song left, and it's Buried Alive. And to wrap it all off, we have Buried Alive with Jem Cook, the last song on the album. So first of all, the song is very cool. Little drum and bass kind of upbeat cut here. Really like the ending as well with like the piano. That was really really cool. Yeah, that was the last song. So let me fill you in on what I think about the album now. Subtronics has never really been one of my all-time favorites. Like, I love him, but he's definitely a producer I really do enjoy, especially like in certain collaborations. He's really good. For example, there's one with Phase One from a few years ago that's really good. Mindpluck's not too bad either. He definitely has some good songs, and I did enjoy Fractals to an extent. Some of the unique songs were kind of cool to hear, but for the most part, it wasn't really like, you know, a big favorite of mine. However, I do think this album is definitely better than Fractals. Not by a lot, you know, like it's like 100,000 times better, but I definitely like this one more. I think there's more songs on here that appeal to me, and also just in general, I think there's some better songs on here. There's a lot of ones for Fractals I just really couldn't get into. So this one though is very very cool. This album, I actually really did enjoy it. It's very cool to see, you know, some basic kind of songs and also some really unique ones. Obviously, the production is all amazing. That goes without saying. Subtronics is a, you know, very well-made producer, very technical songs. So, everything in here is well-made. You know, all the production's very good. And a lot of it's not too bad either. So, hopefully, you guys check this album out too, and let me know what you think, or, you know, what your favorites were. Like I said, I think my 3 favorites have to be Amnesia. That was really good. Parabola Paradox, Slap It was awesome. Super glad to see that one come out, and I did enjoy Mindpluck as well. After I listened to it again, while I was listening to the album, I definitely do enjoy that one a little bit more. It is pretty cool. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely check this album out in the description. It was very cool. Let me know what your favorite was, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Peace.